Alright, things I want in this new Call of Duty, or things that I think should be changed. But first things first, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to make an announcement. Activision has now allowed hacks into Call of Duty. Nope, that's right. Activision has literally allowed hacks into Call of Duty. Now, before I get into this, let me just show you one or two images. So here's the first image. Now, I want you guys to tell me about this image. Do you think this image is fair? Do you agree with it? Do you think this guy should be banned? Here's another image. Take a good guess which Call of Duty this is from. Yep, you're right. So this one here is from Black Ops 6. I couldn't find many images, but I found one. And yeah, this is not hacks. This is actually something made and designed by the developers in Treyarch. I kid you not. This is literally what they have put into the game. They have spent years and I think one or two lawsuits suing companies for, you know, selling these software and cheats that allow players to see through walls, among other things, admittedly, but let's just focus on the wall thing because that's what's in the game. And for whatever reason, these these brilliant developers said, you know what would be a great ability in Call of Duty? Let's make the very thing that we banned users for with our anti-cheat system a perk, a literal a literal perk in our new game. There's only one thing I'm gonna say about this, and that's get rid of this immediately. This is just cheating and giving an unfair advantage. And you've basically given hackers some level of immunity, and in some ways you've opened up a defense for one of the lawsuits you won against a previous company. I can't remember the name. I think they're in Germany. But this is just ridiculous. I don't know who the hell had the common sense to think this was a good idea. Remove it, please. I don't want to see it anymore. Okay, one thing I did want to touch on is core versus hardcore. Now, admittedly, Modern Warfare 3 and Sledgehammer did quite well to include both types of game modes with each event, but there's quite a lot of events that didn't even become available on the hardcore side of things. So that's one major thing that I would really like to see in this game. Whether or not it happens, I don't know, but I'm gonna put it down so nobody says, well, you didn't suggest that. But put simply, I find it somewhat a bit disrespectful to the, what I like to call the Codfathers. Yes, pun intended. But the original developers, when multiplayer first came out, it was basically hardcore. All of it. A fair amount of you are probably going to be too young to know this or see it. So I'll put some images up or a video. But the original Call of Duties, they had low HP, and depending on the game, it had a hood, or somewhat like a hood. And that was what the original multiplayer was, effectively. The original multiplayer was hardcore with or without friendly fire, you could choose. Um, but it had a hood, it had low HP, which are the key things for a Call of Duty game if you are the OG of OGs. Yep. So that's one thing I would like to see, is a return to the old-fashioned style of play. And there are reasons to this, both mutually and from a development perspective. You see, back then in the 90s and 2000s, the internet was a very new thing. It was basically revolutionary, and it's effectively like I don't know how to describe it. The system was so new that even though what it was doing was exceptional, it was basically very basic. It they effectively had to make some compromises, I suppose. So given that latency was gonna be a huge issue or thing when you're in the very early stages of multiplayer development, which was brand new back then, you're gonna have to make sure you do everything to minimize issues like latency. And that was one of the major reasons why the original Call of Duty multiplayers, before Call of Duty 4, had low HP, because low HP limits the amount of error in terms of latency, if that makes sense. And that's also why I like to play hardcore versus core. One, because it's the original game mode that I'm used to, and two, because it eliminates the chances of latency affecting hit reg. So yeah, that would be my advice, is to sort of, if you're gonna make events, include the original multiplayer mode, which was hardcore, before people complained. Because one is, it's a little disrespectful to remove the very thing that us OG players, one, we put our money into, so you could develop future games. But two, it's also disrespectful to your own development team, or the original COD filers, who made this game. So yeah, in a very simple summary, get rid of friendly fire, we don't need that, it causes issues, and simply give low health, give a little bit of a HUD, and that's it. Ghost is the one major perk in this game that I have no understanding why it's so hard to just keep it as it is. So in this game, you have to keep moving, much like Cold War, which for me is a perk that is neither here nor there. It's like a half and half perk, where it's only going to work as long as you meet the conditions. The problem is, unless you can 100% guarantee that you can fulfill those conditions all of the time, it's not a perk worth wearing in my eyes. The major problem is, because it's such an important perk, and because so many players, and especially with SBMM, they keep dying and giving UAVs, Ghost is the only protection you have from the consequences of your teammates' actions. So this leads to a big problem where I'm not certain how quickly Ghost works when I stop moving. Um, when I do start moving, am I pinged on the map? Am I not? There's not even a visual or a audio indicator to say, which makes it very difficult to say that it's a good perk. For me personally, I prefer it if, we'll have to see when the full game comes out, but there should be something that can keep you off the UAV while stationary, because you can't keep moving, put simply. So yeah. Tying it to Ghost as well is Killstreaks in general. I've had this major issue where all the time, and I know there's some SBMM involved, where Killstreaks seem to target me most of all. Probably because I'm one of the better players in the lobby, if not the best. I know, I'm a champion. But the point is that this just shouldn't happen. Why should I be targeted by a VTOL because I'm the best player in the game, even if I never contributed a single kill towards that kill streak? So my point here is that I think that kill streaks such as UAVs and generally other AI-based kill streaks should be limited to the people that actually died multiple times, rather than everyone in the lobby be subject to a kill streak. I don't know if that's crazy or not, but let me know if it's a good idea. But I just don't think why me and the top 3 players should be on a UAV, because Timmy at the bottom simply decided to die 30 times. I'll show you a screenshot or two, but this is what my lobbies look like if something like this isn't sorted out. I can tell you that much now.
Enemy counter UAV is active. Enemy UAV active.
6 UAV now. 6. 5th or 6th. And I don't have Ghost, so what the fuck. Yeah, there we go.
That was just VSOL in the area. All Saber, mission accomplished.
There you effectively have it, and I'll say this now in black and white, essentially, that if Treyarch doesn't do something, I can guarantee you half the lobbies on their servers are just going to be full of players constantly joining games that other players, the good players, have left because the bad players have given UAVs constantly. You're going to have a massive parade of half full lobbies which are being played mid-game. So yeah, I've said it. Good luck. So perks and attachments. Essentially, as I've already said, the perk system needs to be reworked because all the good perks are basically in the perk slot 1, and all the mediocre and bad perks are in slots 2 and 3. Even with perk grade, you can only get 2 in perk 1 when there's actually 3 effectively necessary perks that every player should be having, and they're all stuck in perk 1, so you gotta compromise. And the other thing I don't understand about perk systems is every Call of Duty has limited the amount of perks you can choose to 3. I can't remember if there's ever been one that's done more, except I think Black Ops 2, but only if you lost your secondary with a knife, or maybe 3 as well. But generally speaking, it's always like you develop so many perks and then you effectively make them redundant because other perks take priority. It's like, why are you always limiting it to 3 perks? Why not maybe do 5 perks with two weapons and attachments? And then attachments again, look, if I'm some kind of spec ops guy or something, in special forces generally, I'm not going to go into the field unprepared. And realistically, there's many ways you can add attachments to your guns, and in real life scenarios, you're never really restricted to 5. Now, while I do like Gunfighter, I think it's called Gunfighter, the 8 perks, 8 attachments on a gun is great. Finally a card that does it, but you shouldn't need a card to do it. It should just be standard. I don't understand why I can pick 5 attachments in these Call of Duties and the stock is completely blank. In real life, I can change that stock, no problem. The other attachments, so long as they don't physically prevent me, why wouldn't I? So yeah, there's that thing too, where why are you doing that? I don't understand, really. In my opinion, if there's no physical limitation, then the player should be able to make a modification on that attachment. I don't know why you're limiting attachments for players. That's just limiting the player base and the skill gap. Undoubtedly, you've probably faced a situation like this either in multiplayer or Warzone. Yep, stackers. So, effectively, stacking is cheating as per the definition of cheats, simply because it gives an unfair advantage to other players versus solo players. And besides SBMM, which if you're on a party you can bypass, I'll talk about this in a second, But as a squad of 4 against 1, that one player has to do 4 times the work and the ability to, aim down sight 4 times as fast to be able to take out those 4. And yeah, there are ways of running around, taking them on one by one, sure, but when these players intentionally chase a solo player and they all gang up on him because they know that he stands no chance, that's you effectively doing something to gain an unfair advantage against an opponent, just like wall hacks. And because of this, I believe that Call of Duty and most games today would, and it's long overdue, but they should have client-sided health. So what I mean by this is, just because your teammate has shot the guy, let's say down to 50 HP, that doesn't mean that when another guy comes along on the same team, let's call him Buddy 2, if he shoots the same guy, normally what happens is that he only has to take away that 50 HP left to kill the person. What I would like to see is a system whereby even if Buddy 1 shot this guy down to 50 HP, when Buddy 2 comes along, he should have to take away 100 HP, not 50. That would be a lot fairer. It would eliminate the stacking issue completely, probably. Although you're still going to have issues with ammo count, etc., etc. Because they've got 4 times the amount of ammo versus you, who's only solo. But this is again why I play hardcore, because the low HP means the stackers cannot abuse their numbers to kill you because they're 1 or 2 shots. And you've got plenty of ammo in your magazine that way. Let's be really honest, they're not going to have the time to create a system where there's client-sided health or something similar. So right now, my personal solution would be to introduce something along the lines of mercenary team deathmatch or a mercenary playlist slash mode. If you're not aware of this, mercenary effectively means that players cannot party up. And the reason this is good is because when players party up, they control the KD and the skill of that team, assuming it's 6 people. And so because of this, when clans and players stack together, not only are they using their numbers to unfairly disadvantage solo players, but simultaneously they're also doing it to bypass SBMM. So say in matches like Team Deathmatch, where deaths count towards the objective, that is basically eliminated by the fact that they're a team of 6 who know what they're doing, versus the other team that's just all solo players and they're subject to SBMM, but the party isn't. And it makes no sense to me why you've introduced a system like this and completely missed that part of this system, this weakness. So yeah, mercenary in all playlists, hardcore, core, for every game mode, or some kind of option to disable games with players who party up. In my opinion, it should be, if players want to do party up and stacking, then it should only be against other players that are stacking as well in groups of 2 or more. Alright, well, that's me done. That's everything I can really think of that's major to do with the game. Took me a while to edit this video together and all the ideas. But yes, I hope you enjoyed. Please do let me know what you think of these ideas, whether they're good or bad, or if I've missed some things. Feel free to comment. Yeah, give me some more ideas. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. How do I? Oh, this one. I'm giving back what they gave out, guys.
I've seen people hit walls and they stop there. I don't get that mind, man, it sounds scared. Good things take time, better prepare, cause anything great takes pain, isn't fair. Take it from me, cause I got to this place where no one can tell me to do anything. I call my own shots, I call my own place. I enjoy my life almost every day, and I could teach you if you listen to me. You follow some rules, don't need gifts to be paid. Persistence is better than brains any day. Just listen to me and I'll show you the way. Within our souls, we can feel there's something empty. We need something more. I feel destiny, she tempts me, tells me there's two paths, they both have a different ending. Choose wise and you'll find that pain leads to ascending. Till I'm dead and buried deep within a cemetery, I will fight, never weary, I wanna be legendary. Till I'm dead and buried deep within a cemetery, I will fight, never weary, I wanna be legendary. Deep within a cemetery, I will fight, never weary, I wanna be legendary. Till I'm dead and buried deep within a cemetery, I will fight, never weary, I wanna